What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. New little setup. We up here in the office. I'm putting it together. I got my second monitor, my laptop. That goes together. I got me a nice new mic, a Rode USB pod mic, and new office. But that's not the point of this video. I want to bring y'all this video because I wanted to really dive a little bit deeper in life. I've been doing a lot of the vlog content, a lot of the basketball, and although I drop a little bit of nuggets here and there is a few things that I like to always get a little bit deeper on, and this is one of those videos. So sit back, relax, get you a snack, get you a drink, enjoy this video, but also think about it. Think about how it can help you, think about the data sets in it, and what correlates and what you resonate with in your life, right? And that kind of leads me into what this video is. Your purpose, your why. In life, we got to remember, we got to find our why. Oftentimes we get distracted by a bunch of different things, right? We get distracted by entertainment, we get distracted by drama, we get distracted by a bunch of different things. But ultimately, the point of this video is to remind you to find your why. Proceed on the path of your purpose. And the journey is just as much enjoying it as it is what the purpose of it is. But when you're walking that trail and you're enjoying that sight, you got to remember where you're going to every once in a while. That way you just don't get lost, right? That way you don't get lost. That way you don't have no complications. But the ultimate factor of it all is having a balance between the two. But without further ado, let's dive in to finding your why. This will be a question that you ask yourself time and time again, over and over throughout your life, because the answer will change. And with each new thing that you do, with each new path that you take, new opportunity, growth as a person, as a spirit, as a human, that happens, you will have more whys, you will have different whys, you will have lots of different pieces, and all of these whys are little puzzle pieces to the path of your purpose. Your purpose is fulfilled when all of your whys are, in a way. So know that your why could be different today than it was yesterday. It could be different today as it was 2 years ago, or as it will be in 3 years. But your why is something that you always must remind yourself to think about. It's very important to remember your why. That way the missions can be completed, the growth can be made, and the progress can be walked. Your why is that little charge that you got, that little last bit of adrenaline in your fight or flight that gets you to go and survive. Your why will get you up when nothing else will. When you feel helpless, your why will be your reason why you get up. Now, your why could be for somebody. It could be because you love somebody. It could be for this or for that, to help someone out, to help a version of you out, right? We'll dive in a little bit deeper, but your why is the little strength that gets tapped into when you most need it. Whether it's when you're in a very hard situation or point in your life and you think of somebody that you're doing something for, that could give you the little bit of strength to keep going. Oftentimes we see this narrative in movies where the main character is facing something very hard, whether it's physical, mental, whatever it is. The main character is facing something hard, but their why is the reason why they are able to complete the mission. Their why is the reason why when they're holding on with one hand on the edge of a cliff, they get some strength out of nowhere to pull them back up. Oftentimes in movies and books, we often see it as they get a flashback, right? They get a flashback to their child laughing, and it gives the dad enough strength to move the car, whatever it is, right? But as silly as it is to think about movies and real life, fiction and reality, that is the truth. Your why will be that little bit of strength. It will be that reminder in your mind. But it's so important to find your why, because without knowing your why, you won't be able to tap into that. You won't be able to tap into that reserve that gets you up every single day. That reserve that makes you want to go and get after it. That little bit of reserve that is just pure energy, pure focus, pure motivation, pure adrenaline. That energy can then flow throughout your life, throughout your day, throughout your week, throughout your year. And that little piece of energy moving moves other energy, right? Which gets this snowball effect going. And that why then becomes the reason why you're able to complete whatever it is. That snowball then turns into the huge snow bottom of a snowman. And then your next one, and then your next one. And then now out of nowhere, you got a full snowman that's complete. But finding your why is so important, not just because of the little energy reserve that you get for it, the push, the motivation, the abundance that you gain from it. But your why ultimately is part of your purpose. And if there's anything to do here on earth while we're living, is our purpose while still enjoying all of the journey, right? Like I said, you could be going on a hike and enjoying the view, but at the end of the hike is a hot springs that you want to go to. Think of the hot springs like your why, and think of the journey as the trail up to the hot springs, right? The most optimal life to live is enjoying the journey and the hot springs. So you're walking on that trail because there's a hot springs. You could be on a trail that is very brutal, very hot, very deserty. You ain't got no water. It's very unforgiving, but at the very end, there's a waterfall. Or it could be a beautiful hike in the mountains, and at the end is a hot springs. Each journey will be different, but the why behind the journey will fuel you. And being able to understand that gives you a little bit more appreciation for the journey, because you know that your why will be fruitful, but the journey only lasts while you're walking in it, right? The trail only lasts while you're walking it. Once you make it to the destination, that's over. Now, if you go back the same way, that's a different story. But just to put it in comprehension for you, you must remember to have this why and think about this why, but also the balance of the path. So if you are looking, if you are soul searching, if you are diving deep within yourself to find your why and to find your purpose, then you are already one step closer to living the best life possible. Wake up, remember your why. If you don't know your why, find your why, so that you can have that fuel that pushes you through that hard journey or through that beautiful hike. And then the ending will be so much more fruitful. But that fuel, having more energy, will allow you to enjoy the journey more. If you are doing something and you don't know your why you're doing it, it could become very miserable. But if you're doing something let me rephrase that. If you are doing something very enjoyable, but you don't know your why, after a while, it's going to become miserable. But if you are doing something miserable and you know your why, somehow, some way, that one miserable thing you're doing becomes a little bit more enjoyable. Your life gets a little bit more enjoyable, a little bit more better. You get a little bit more happier. You enjoy it a little bit. You get a little smile on your face while you're doing it. And that's because you know your why. You're not doing something pointless. It's the same reason why when older folks go into retirement after working their whole life, they could either become sad, depressed, bored. You know, they like life a little bit less. Why? Because they feel like they don't have a purpose. They feel like they're not working towards something. They don't know their why all the time. I'm not saying all people that go into retirement, but I'm saying a lot of older folks, right? Because they've walked a very long path. And when they finally hit that retirement, they're wondering, what's my why now? And a lot of people don't find it. And that's when people get stagnant. That's when life starts to get worse. Because when you're stagnant, you are now living at a different vibration. It's a lower vibration. You're not moving energy. You're not growing as a person. You're not changing, right? So when you find out your why, it makes life that much more enjoyable, more purpose-filled. You can go at it with a smile every day, even when it's raining, even when it's hot, even when it's snowing. Your why gives you access to a different perspective on life that not everybody can see, right? Not everybody can see it because the people that don't know their why don't understand the pleasure within the miserableness, right? So find your why. I encourage you to find your why. That's the whole point of this video. Find your why. And why may I be asking you to find your why? Because I want you to live just a little bit more better of a life. That's my purpose. That's one of my whys, is to try and help you, anybody that's watching this, whether you know me from my previous videos or you're new to the channel. I want to leave you and this world a little bit different, a little bit better, with a little bit more wisdom and knowledge on how to be better and live better when I leave it. Every footprint I leave behind, I want it to be a nice footprint. I want it to be beautiful. I want it to look good. I don't want it to be leaving gunk behind. I want it to be nice and clean and helpful to lead somebody to a path that is very fruitful and very much worth it. So if you do enjoy this video, if you enjoy this type of content, like and subscribe. I got plenty more. If you've seen my videos before, I appreciate you. Shout out you. Appreciate y'all for tapping back in. I got a lot more content like this that I'm going to be making. This one was, for me, this is me being a little bit vulnerable here. This one was a little bit more awkward for me to record just because the echo in here isn't 100% solved. This office is still getting a little bit better. I got the new mic. I don't really want to be speaking too loud. I don't want to be speaking too soft into it. So when I go back, I'm going to look at the audio. So it was a little bit awkward, a little bit different of a video for me to make. And I'm looking forward to making more like this. I enjoy it. I enjoy being able to sit down and talk with the camera. I did lots of this within the previous office, a lot more of this content. But then I started going into more vlogs, lifestyle, entertainment, because I still want you guys to be having a good time while watching my videos. Even though, you know, sometimes there's a time and a place for everything, right? This time right now is a little bit serious of a talk for y'all to find your purpose, find your why, help you enjoy life a little bit better. But there will be more content of me doing some fun stuff, vlogs, a little bit more entertainment. But always know I got that message, bro. I got that message on lock. So I hope y'all, like I said, enjoyed this video. I'm going to go back through and edit it. I'm going to see how the audio is and whatnot. This is definitely going to improve. If this was a little bit of an awkward video or not quite I didn't seem like I was quite on my best production. It's because this is my first time trying this type of video, so I hope y'all enjoy it. I'm gonna quit yapping. Y'all have an amazing night, amazing day, amazing afternoon, amazing morning, and an amazing life, right? That's what we're here to do. Live an amazing life and complete a purpose. Until next time, YouTube, like, subscribe, leave a comment on your thoughts, and I'll catch you on the next one.